Hello, and welcome to Break for Art. My name is Sarah Coffey, Senior Education Coordinator at the Dallas Museum of Art. Today, we're going to spend some time with Isaac Soyer's Art Beauty Shop, painted in 1934. If you'd like to take a moment to look closely at this painting before I turn your attention to a few points of interest, you can pause this video and then resume playing when you're ready to continue. I would also encourage you to view the high-resolution image of the painting in the DMA's online collection so that you can zoom in closely on all the details. As you look at this artwork, what did you notice? What stood out? Does this painting recall any memories? How does it make you feel? In this painting, we see a room filled with what appear to be white individuals, 5 women and 1 man, along with what we can assume are the hands of a 6th woman in the lower right. There is a black and white checker pattern floor and the words Art Beauty Shop written backwards, signifying that we're looking out a window. Outside the window, we can see a cityscape with tall buildings. Inside, to the far left, a seated woman in a black hat holds a purse that seems to include a compact as she's looking down to apply her red lipstick. Moving right, one woman is seated holding a magazine while another styles her hair. The sole male in the scene sits along the wall holding his hat with a disinterested expression, as if he might be waiting. Seated near him by the window is a woman in green reading a newspaper. She has a strange contraption over her head, which is attached to her hair with cords. In the right foreground, a woman in a red hat with dark hair looks directly at us with her light bluish-gray eyes. She's getting a manicure with classic red polish from the 6th woman, whom we can't fully see. On her left hand, she wears a large ring with a green stone. Isaac Soyer painted scenes of everyday urban life in New York City during the early 20th century. This Depression-era scene was created in 1934 as part of the federal government's Public Works of Art project, a New Deal art program that was the predecessor of the more familiar WPA Federal Art Project. Speaking that year in the midst of the Depression about the value of art, First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt said, "I think that all of us now are conscious of the fact that the appreciation of beauty is something which is of vital importance to us." With the advocacy and support of the First Lady, the Public Works of Art project hired over 3,700 artists who produced over 15,000 works of art for government buildings and public spaces across the country. Many of these works were then donated to museums. Art Beauty Shop was one of 4 such paintings to go on view in September 1935 after being placed with the then Dallas Museum of Fine Arts by the program earlier that year. What questions come to mind about this scene? We noticed most of the individuals were women, with 1 man in the background. He sits with his ankles crossed, holding his belongings securely on his lap. Does he look comfortable in this space? His posture seems to indicate he is not, that he feels like an outsider. Who else is not included in this space? We also noticed earlier that the women all appear to be white. During the early 20th century, the United States was segregated, and beauty shops in New York City were no different. This photograph of 2 Sisters Beauty Salon from the collection of the Henry Ford Archive depicts a similar scene from around the same time period, but of a Black-owned business. Do you notice any items in common? Both images show early types of electric hair dryers on stands, which could be moved around the salon to each client as they were needed. The DMA's painting includes an additional unfamiliar electric gadget attached to the woman in green. What do you think this contraption might be? The woman in green is having her hair curled with a permanent wave machine. The first U.S. patent for a permanent wave machine was issued in 1928 to Marjorie Stewart Joyner, a Black woman whose grandmother had been enslaved. Joyner's invention was readily adopted by beauty shops across the country, as it was effective on all different types of hair for either straightening or curling. What smells might you encounter in this scene? There would likely be the smell of strong chemicals. The permanent wave machine operated with a combination of chemicals and electrically heated cords. Perhaps we might also smell shampoo, hairspray, and other styling products. Remember the manicure taking place in the foreground? The nail polish would certainly have a strong smell. Nail polish, as we know it today, had just been invented in the 1920s. In the early 30s, a bottle of Q-Tex polish cost 35 cents, a small but affordable luxury in the midst of the Depression. Q-Tex advertised heavily in women's magazines, like the one in this picture, with suggestions that women should choose your color to suit your frock. Reds, like their cardinal color, were advertised as deep and exotic, and perfect to wear with outfits of beige and gray, just like the blazer we see on the woman getting her nails done. We actually know a bit more about this particular woman. Her name was Lillian Stein Serker. She grew up with Isaac Soyer in Manhattan's Lower East Side and served as his model for this painting. Soyer draws our attention to Lillian with her direct gaze. She stands out as the most clear and prominent figure in the painting. She wears a vibrant red hat, which is complemented by the green clothing of the woman in the background behind her. At the time she sat for the painting, Lillian had recently been engaged. Soyer includes her beautiful ring and makes sure we notice it by giving her the manicure. In fact, we know that Lillian and her husband were happily married for over 60 years, from a letter her granddaughter wrote to the museum about this painting. How would you describe this scene? Calming, vibrant, chaotic? The pattern of the floor, the setting of the city, and the number of patrons focused on different activities all combine to convey an energetic feeling. I think back to times when salons were busy and full of people, the hum of conversations, hairdryers, and shampoo stations. But at the same time, it reminds me of the relaxation of taking a moment for yourself while also enjoying the anonymous company of others. I hope you enjoyed looking at Art Beauty Shop with me, and that you might recall this scene the next time you get your hair done, whatever that might be. Until then, we look forward to seeing you soon at the DMA.